Um, Welcome everyone. I appreciate your time for making up. Here in Brazil, it's about 12:30, and I know in the US it's almost lunchtime also. So today I'm going to talk about how you can initiate teams with Kanban in a fun way. But first, let me introduce myself. Howdy, I'm Carlos. I'm a Scrum Master for the Cloud team. Been working with ITs for the past 15 years, but into the Agile world for the past 4.5 years. I consider myself a geek, as you can see by my shirt. I'm always wearing some fun stuff. I also am a huge Marvel fan, so I enjoy all the comics and the movies also. They are the best. During my free time, I like to do some photographies and video sessions. And I cannot work without listening to music. So I'm always with my headphones on, listen to music all day long. They keep me running all day. So today we are going to talk about, I'm going to do a little provocation here of why Kanban. Then I'm going to do some introductions on how you can run Kanban with your teams. I'll explain a little bit about a Kanban game, and then hopefully we can do some hands-on. Since we are not able to do some breakout rooms, I'm going to do with the entire room. So hopefully it works. Usually we run this game with people no more than 8. With groups with no more than 8 people, but that's okay. We will manage. And then I'm going to open for some Q&A. All right. So let's start with why Kanban. The reason I put this question is not actually to make a provocation on which methodology or framework is the best. I'm going to put my statement, which is Kanban is a methodology that complements other types of frameworks such as Scrum or SAFe. I believe that the way that Kanban has put the flow management and their metrics help to improve many things, such as the flow itself. So you can focus on what's important, on what are the problems. Also, to maximize the feedback throughout the metrics that Kanban has put in. So the throughput, the CFD, all these metrics helps to improve the feedback and collaboration between the team members. And the last but not least important is the maximize delivered value, because when we are managing smaller packages, items with the same items being produced at the most velocity, we are going to improve our delivered value. So my conclusion, what I went to do to this question is, why not Kanban? Why not use another methodology to improve your daily usage? Whenever which is Scrum, whenever it's SAFe, you name it. Okay. So how can you initiate teams with Kanban? Usually we have the traditional way, which is I think it's a good way to teach people on, which is simply educating team members with the Kanban method whenever it's metrics, flow management, or determine the WIP, or even like if everyone was able to attend yesterday's presentation from Rafael teaching about the Kanban basics. These are good ways so where you can initiate, but the good thing about Kanban is that you do not have a single way to how to implement Kanban with your teams. One of the Kanban saying is that start with what you have. So if you're feeling that your squad or your team needs to improve the metrics, so start by them. So if you think that your flow has many room for improvement, start with the flow. Or you think you can simply educate the teams to learn a new way of running Agile. So you can start with the Kanban basics. So that's the fun way where you can start implementing Kanban. I'll give a real life case here on the teams that I started to implement Kanban. The team were very mature on running Scrum. They were very mature on the daily practices, how to run Scrum, and I was feeling that they were focused on really estimating things, and they have many troubles on the planning, on understanding how to estimate things. And since Kanban makes from the principle that all the packages, all the items are the same, so I started to say, okay, so let's go one step further and start implementing some metrics. So I talk with the manager of the team and I say, okay, I want to improve the metrics from the team, and then I want to run things a little bit different. I was thinking to implement some Kanban metrics, which will be more optimized to the way the delivery goes. And he said, okay, let's run it. So I scheduled one hour and a half meeting just to go over the simple metrics, to the most explaining how the metrics were collected, how they worked, and explaining the difference between the Kanban metrics and the Scrum metrics. And then, which is the most fun, I did a simulate Kanban method. Which is a simulate Kanban method? I used a game where all the concepts that I did on my presentation, I applied on this Kanban game. I did a simulation where everyone was able to understand how they could assimilate the theory that I was giving to them into practice in a fun way, of course. And that brings me to the Kanban game. Kanban game is a free and web-based game that simulates 35 business days of a team's work. Ideally, you can run with multiple people, but since you want to effective give the message of something such as class as services, web, or even the metrics, it's best for organized into smaller groups, which will make the communication and the participation of everyone more effectively. And usually you have to separate around 3 to 4 hours to run the full game. But like I said previously, I run with the team with approximately 1 hour and a half because my intent was to cover the metrics, not to the full Kanban picture. So depending on the situation, it may take to 3 to 4 hours. In this case, for today's, we are going to do a short demo, so everyone is going to be able to participate along with me. And so you can see how easily it is to understand all the practices that Rafael said yesterday into practice. Okay, so let's start about the rules of the game. Okay, this is the most important thing that you should be always be considering and aligning with the teams. So the first thing is that you start at day 9. The main goal is to obtain revenue, and the way how you obtain revenue is very simple. Every story that you deploy at the end of the sprint is gain some revenue. So especially you have 3 team members divided into analysts, marked in red, developers, marked in blue, and testers in green. So the way that the game works is that every day when you run the sprint, a random number is selected between 1 and 6. This will determine the amount of work that was done on that day. But there are a few things that you must be aware of. When a member is working within their expertise of area, which means analysts working as an analyst and not as developers, they have their performance doubled, which means Let's suppose that on that day, the analyst was supposed to work two items on that day. But since he was working on his own specific area, then instead of two, it was four, the amount of work that he worked on that day. So keep in mind when we are running on the scenarios and assigning people into work, see how much of amount of work you have, and so you can not over assign a task or underestimate a task. Also, the stories have a different type of situations where each work is divided into different classes of services. So for those who were not able to attend yesterday's lecture about class of services are simply the way of divide and categorize different types of work. So in this case, we have four. The standard ones are the most common and generate normal revenue to the company. The fixed delivery dates are items that have some due date, but remember, if we are going to deliver too soon, we are not thinking value of delivering something that is standard and can generate real-time revenue. So please keep in mind to always accommodate the fixed delivered date between a reasonable time where people can work on both things at the same time. Okay, the intangible ones are mostly documentation and security policies that were implemented. But if you do not work on them, people's performance may not be the best. For example, if an analyst is working on a test, you should not be able to get his performance very well because the documentation was not ready. So please balance the intangible works as well of the other standard or fixed delivery dates. And the expedite are urgent bug fixes or company breaches that, if not resolved, will income in penalties. Okay. And lastly, the game ends at day 35. Okay. Questions so far?
Carlos, I was just going to say that we can open the breakout sessions if you want.
Oh, okay, great.
Right.
Great, that's good to hear.
Yep.
So before we get started to the game, I'm going to give you some more few tips, okay? So read carefully each day because people get sick, have transportation issues, have vacation or day offs, which may compromise the amount of work that they were happening. So company policies may change because that you see how fun is the game because people actually have some serious position about work. And you will hear a name Carlos, but that Carlos on the game is not me, okay? I'm just going to say that out loud at first, that Carlos in the game, it's not me. As a facilitator, you need to plan the day of the work of the team, review the backlog, assign the work to be done, and review the metrics. To help you guys on this game, I have Rafael and Bruno. They already ran this game a few times, and they are going to be your facilitators. So what we are going to do now is to divide into breakout rooms so we can have everyone's participation a little bit better. I just need to know who of you do not speak Portuguese. Please raise your hand.
I do not.
Okay, so we have Tom only. Okay, so Tom, Renata, I need you to have Tom on my room so I can run with him.
Okay.
Everyone else, Bruno and Rafael will take care of you because they will run the game with you. So
Right. Breakout session 1 will be run in English and 2 and 3 in Portuguese.
okay, let's
Carlos,
go.
how long do we keep the rooms?
Yeah, this is a very long game, so I want by when we have 10 minutes left, bring everyone to the same room so we can have a Q&A and close out the okay?
All right, so 1:20 p.m., Mari. Okay. Welcome back.
Conseguiu, deu certo?
We didn't finalize.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's
Just a curiosity, Rafael, on what day have you stopped?
On the
Let me see.
11th,
13 day.
On the
oh,
13th.
the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, on 13.
Bruno? Bruno, you up there? Or someone from Bruno can respond? Oh, 17th. Okay. Okay, so the Bruno has gone farther because we stopped at day 15 when we had the first expedite. So it was pretty fun. And how much of revenue each group has attended so far? Just to see the logics. If you can put on the chat room. So I'll put the revenue for my team so far. We made 2.2. Hey, way to go, guys. I'm proud of you. So hopefully, wow, Bruno, that's good.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow, Bruno. Wow, I like your strategy.
Company is the most successful.
Nice. That's nice.
High
So
performance
guys,
team, yeah. Go horse.
I will share my pics. Good one. Good one. Okay, guys. So hopefully you guys like it, how this you can run with your teams. Again, this is only one way. There are several games like this for some specific Kanban topics. For example, we have one game that's called the whip game, which is more to reinforce the whip limits, the whip rules. So it's more focused on that. We have the other one, the little law game, to explain how the little law game works. And we have this one, which covers all the Kanban topics at once. So let me run a few. When we are running the game with the teams, it's very important for you guys review the metrics as the game goes on. So for those who are not seeing the metrics, I'm going to share it right here. So here you can see a simple CFD. Here you can see the profitable from the financial chart. And here you can see the cycle time between the periods. So when you're running, reinforce the teams how to read it, have some discussions about it. And pretty much that's it, guys. So any questions? Now it's the time.
Yes, I have one. To be able to play those games, to be the admin of those games, do you need any level of certification, Kanban certification?
No. For example, if you want to know how to run this game, you just need to know the Kanban basics, which I think Rafael covered yesterday. This is the most common way to run the game. So if you do not understand Kanban in depth, I would suggest to read some about how Kanban works, how the whip limits are established, how to read the metrics. So for if someone asks you how to interpret those type of stuff, you are able to teach them how to run it.
So is the link shareable?
Yeah.
Shareable? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I put on the presentation, but I'll put here on the chat room as well. So this is the link to the game. So all you have to do is click, register with an account, and have fun. So you
Thank you very
can
much.
multiple times.
Yeah, amazing. I had a lot of fun.
Right. Any other questions for Carlos?
I shut down my camera accidentally. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
If not, thank you everyone for
Your day by day,
participating.
one more question, sorry.
Okay, sure.
On your day by day, how do you understand, how do you put the costs for each of the items that you have on your Kanban board? How do you know the price, the cost, or the revenue that we're gonna get with each one?
In this case, you're asking in a real scenario, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so in a real scenario, I try to make it to what I have as a milestone. So what are the milestones that I want to achieve within certain period. So when I'm running Kanban, I want to maximize the value driven by the capabilities that are delivered. So, for example, if it's a functionality of, let's suppose, I'll put a project that I'm running right now. The client wants a dev portal in UAT and development. So the first thing to do is to have this developer portal created. So all my efforts for those tasks are going to be divided within that specific area. So when you're running Kanban, you have to have a full depth of your project on what you're going to deliver. What's your goal for that? Because if you're running purely Kanban, there are no iterations actually. So you have simply one continuously delivered. But in this case, I'm running Scrum with Kanban. So I'm using the sprints and applying the Kanban method by having the whip. So I establish whip on each one of the phases. And then I'm going to apply the metrics to see where we are not delivering fast enough. So for example, if development is going to them has a bigger, wider area, I'm going to focus on that. If we are not doing any tests, I'm going to focus on that. So that's the beauty of Kanban. You can look on the other way and apply even with the Scrum.
And also looking at the cycle time to check where
Exactly.
things are getting stuck and try to map some action.
And see, one thing that we like to work, especially on Kanban, is how many times the story has been blocked and for how long. So we also monitor that very much, and presented that on our reviews.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
I'll try to be quick here. we only have 4 minutes left, but in all the teams, suppose you're running a pure Kanban, and in all the teams you have Kanban coach, or the team is able to run it by themselves. The reason I'm asking this is I was thinking about the team taking bad decisions and not delivering like its best. So how do you manage that?
I run the retrospectives to have them thinking on what their actions were done. So I simply ask the right questions. So for example, in this case, I simply ask, do you guys think that this strategy that we work on this past iteration was sufficient? And if they say yes, I'm going to say, are you really sure? And then I punctuate some things, and I use the metrics on my behavior, on my behalf, to demonstrate that this might not be the best, the best choice. So I use the metrics in my favor to demonstrate that to them, because the metrics do not lie. They are simply the purest what is of your work. So if you want to focus on the process, look at the metrics. The metrics will show you where are the defects of your process.
Right, thank you. Okay.
Right. Any additional questions?
I have one additional question. People are used to traditional project methodologies, and people from financial departments always ask how it costs, how long it will take. How do you manage the mismatch of Agile and people asking what are your best tricks for?
I think that, yeah, I understood your question, what is, and I think that I'm going to put my experience. I'm not a person that gives an exact answer to when we are estimating something. So if the client asks me when it's going to get delivered, if I'm running Scrum, I say, we are going to give you an increment by this date, and this will be delivered. If not, then we have a problem. But when we are talking about the entire project, when they, and most of this question comes when they have to have an idea when the project will be completed. So we in Kanban we have a prediction that it's based on the historical way. So we have for example, I have 90% of confidence that the work will be the amount of work will be delivered is X. So this is a simple math problem that we solve them and explain to them that Agile is more to a predictable way, is to have this work delivered. So usually we can not always give a 100% choice, but if you're using Scrum, for example, we can use the capacity, the velocity to demonstrate them what will be the amount of work delivered if we do not have any impediments. So